Hello, everyone. Think let's get this show started. Please type in the chat too. That would be also absolutely great. Get an understanding of how the levels are. So I don't have to do that myself. All right, so I got a chat set up. How's it going, my cat Stella? So I think we have a pretty interesting live stream. I mean, for the most part, it's just gonna be your basic kind of looking at Lego sets. Mostly all the new stuff that came out in January, because I don't know. I want to figure out a way to do the news. That's not, I make a video and that kind of eats at time. Because, my videos overall, I feel like they take a long time, That's why. Still working on the, Krieger's command ship. So, just get that out, out of the way first. It's coming. Don't worry. You'll hear about it more. So, just taking a swig of water. Because water is very nice, if you couldn't tell. But, yeah, no, so that's it. And then I do have a special, announcement kind of prepared, too. That I'm personally, at least it'll actually be Chima Lore Drop. I guess exclusive to this live stream. Because yeah, so that's kind of what it's gonna be. So, I guess without a further introduction, well, I think it's best to if we get to the first set I want to talk about, which is going to be, yeah, we're gonna be talking about the Sonic sets. First off, you all see Sonic 3, solid movie. As a kid, I don't know about you guys, but my favorite arc. My favorite storyline from Sonic was always the SA2 storyline, or Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow. It is such a great storyline, and I'm finally glad that it got put to film. I remember being really little watching it through Sonic X, and because I didn't own the games at the time, I was too young to own SA2 in the sense of I'm a Wii kid. I didn't grow up with the GameCube. And, you weren't going to... I wasn't buying GameCube games anyway, even if I knew the Wii could, support GameCube. I was only buying Wii games. So... But, let's look at our first set. And it is, the Campfire set. I think it's a solid set. It's definitely based more off the movie. It's I don't think it's a set I'm going to be personally ever pick up, because it just has Sonic. I believe he does have a different expression in this set, and it's just some, I guess, badniks. The modern movie design. Now getting to the set, one of the sets I'm very excited for that I have not had the chance to pick up, mostly because I am not made out of money. So, the next one up is Tails vs. Metal Sonic, which I don't know about anyone else, but I am, it's a very exciting set for me because, we finally get Metal Sonic, and then, we get the Cyclone, which, I mean, that's pretty cool. I should actually tone myself down because I don't, so I don't peek. Hopefully that sounds a lot better, so I don't accidentally peek. But yeah, no, and it's just one of those sets that, I'm really great that we finally have. Because, there's so much stuff that, Sonic that you can do in set form. Thanks, Dawnbreaker. Yeah, no, as I said, I mean, I guess, because it's oh wait, Oh, those were the gun robots, weren't they? Or wait, are they actually in Sonic Adventure 2? As I said, I have not played the actual game. I think I played like a little bit of it and got mad because like I am not a 3D Sonic person. I very much stick to the classics. But I appreciate like Adventure 1 and 2 a lot. I love those game stories. So but yeah, no, so getting back to the Cyclone. Um yeah, no, it's another set that I think that really, Lego could have done, and I'm glad they got it, or they made it finally. Because, I'm not going to complain that, it didn't come out in year one. Like, I know some other people have actually, seen complaints about, is that, yeah, I mean, my favorite complaint, about the Sonic theme was in the first year, the first wave, not counting the ideas set, or even the dimension stuff. It was just, oh, there's too much green hills, and it's like, what? Settle down, it's the first wave. It's okay to have green hills. We're not 2 or 3 years down the line where it's like, can you please stop giving us green hills? Let's just accept the green hills for what it is. Even though I think the background of these sets, the boxes actually do use green hills. Or, I'm not really sure because they look more like the, I can't remember the level's name, but the mountain level from Sonic 2. At least that's what it looks like to me on the box of the, what was it? The Death Egg Robot. Which I finally was able to pick up, and that is such a good set. Like, I cannot stress that enough. So, but, I have some other pictures of it. Like, if you can tell by my photography, I like, these kind of simple, photos of, how do I put it? Of just, like, life, building or stuff like that. So, this is a really good product photo. It's also good to see that Tails comes with some accessories, too. And here's a good look at the minifigures. Now, it's not shown in these photos, but Metal Sonic, actually, he has another port in his head that to make him fly, which is, like, super cool. This is probably the most exciting minifigure, I think, of the Sonic wave. But let's move to the set I'm probably most excited for from Sonic. And that has to be the Bio Lizard. Now, as I said, as a kid, I loved the Sonic Adventure 2 storyline from Sonic X. And the fact that I can finally get, Super Shadow and Super Sonic, I mean, I would have loved this as a kid. And it's the Bio Lizard. I mean, I thought they were going to do Chaos first, like Perfect Chaos first, because it's Perfect Chaos. Like, that is such a cool design to me. And, like, I mean, I feel like the Bio Lizard, I always just kind of remembered being, like, just kind of more of the knockoff of Chaos. Perfect Chaos, really. But, I don't care. We're getting, Shadow. It's the Bio Lizard. It's actual stuff from the video games. Because, like, I look at the stuff from the Mario line, and, well, it's stuff from the video games. It doesn't feel really like it's ripped out of the video game. It just, yeah, I don't like the Mario line, and I'm more of a Mario person, which sucks. But I think it's also because Mario is one of those things that's just kind of hard to really make in LEGO, in the sense of that, like, it definitely has to be more of an interpretation, because I think a lot of it is definitely more on the side of, you got to be more abstract because it doesn't translate the best into LEGO. Got some more photos. So yeah, because the gimmick is that you hit the Bio Lizard and then it's I'm not exactly sure what it is. The tank comes off. Not tank, but the power source. To defeat the Bio Lizard, which I recently rewatched. The final boss, and it's like, it's very reminiscent of that. One thing though is I might mod mine. Probably not, because I'm usually a very stock model person. But I would very much like to mod my BioLizard to be more like the Sonic X version, which actually had the legs, like on the back legs, because like, you know, if you see here, you know, it's got those weird like pointy legs. And this is another product shot I just personally absolutely adored. And I was like, okay, yep, that's definitely going in the video. Or the live stream, rather. And then, yet again, here are the two minifigures you get in this set, which are Supersonic and Super Shadow. Also, yet again, super glad that we're getting these minifigs. Because mostly because, like, you don't have to spend $80 on Supersonic. Like, I would like to get that set. But, with the Egg Driller, or whatever it's called, from Sonic 2. You know, a very iconic first boss, which is also kind of ironic that Supersonic comes in that, you know, even though I guess they're from the same game, so. Okay, Dawnbreaker, so, Super Shadow's the best minifigure of the year so far. You know what, yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, it is Super Shadow, so, you know. Oh, I mean, I guess for, like, at least Sonic-wise, but, like, you know, we're getting some real bangers, I think, with this wave. So, those are all the Sonic sets, that we're going to be talking about for now. I just want to talk about them because, you know, I'm a video game person, you know, through and through. I mean, hopefully you were all here for the beginning of the live stream where I was playing, you know, the immaculate, song Epoch from, actually, what is actually the song called? Because I know it's like, I always called it, like, I think it's called Silvered. But, the Epoch theme from Chrono Trigger, which is my favorite video game of all time, so that's fun. Now let's move on to the, so we're going to be starting off with now we're going to be going into the Ninjago sets. First off is we have a kind of battle pack with the smaller Zane mech of this wave. I have this set, it's kind of alright. I really just brought it for Drix. Like, I do like that it comes with the Shurikens of Ice. You know, always always great to see them back. You know, because I wasn't even sure if the molds they still had the molds. Because I mean, it's been a decade, and Lego doesn't even have the original Ninja hoods anymore. So like, oh yeah, Aetha. Well, I can't wait to get to that part. Because, like, I might have to pull up an iconic image when we get to that part. And then, looking at the minifigures, I do like how Zane doesn't have, like, a shirt, I guess, and you can see his power core. That's super cool. I wonder what that means for the story. And then you got Drix. Oh, you know what? Yes, my cat Stella. I completely forgot to talk about, the main gimmick of this wave. I'm also not talking about the spinners because I don't care about the spinners personally. They are just not interesting to me. But yeah, so these are, if I'm correct, called the prismatic blades, and the Forbidden Five need to collect them because they want to unleash something. So, but we'll get to that in a bit of a bit. So, as I said, I love Drix so far. Because they have the element of Swarm. Kind of like a certain other character from another Lego theme. That character is Zactan. I actually, I don't have them on me right now, but as soon as they announced that the character had the power of Swarm, I went out and bought all the Bionicle minifigs. So I at least from the 06 wave. So I just kind of have those, which is fun. At least I think so. So now I can have both users of the ability of Swarm now, which is fun. So now we're going to be moving on to what's it? The Forest Dragon. And this is a set I definitely want to get, but I chose not to get it for now. So first off the bat, one thing I like is that it's using these new wing pieces. Okay, so Dawnbreaker. So these, actually going back to the sword, because I see this question here. So it's not trans medium blue. It's actually a pearlescent clear. Like it has like sparkles in it. It is a super cool piece. Because as I said, I do have this one, so actually I have a ton of those pieces now. Except they don't give you extras like certain other gold blades. That I have so many. I have so many katana, like golden katanas as extras. I kind of hate it because I'd rather get like silver as an extra. But yeah, no, it's glittery clear. And so going back to the forest dragon. I also, it's also neat that it uses the Ryu head. I'm not the biggest fan of it because it doesn't have a jaw. But it's whatever. Now, and also it comes with the baby dragon, which is I can't wait to see what's happening with that. Okay, controversial opinion. I really, really like this Lloyd minifigure. You want to know why? Because it's not using the Dragon's Rising hood piece from the first wave. That hood piece sucked. It's such a bad hood piece. And so now we just get like this cleaner minifig, and like, I don't know, for me it's like, this is amazing. I know there's a lot of people that got so mad at this minifigure. But, no, this thing's great. At least I think so. But, I'm weird, I think. And then you also have our first look at the Dragonian Scout. So, these are people from the First Realm. Which is finally great, though. We're actually getting First Realm lore, and we're not just looking at a desert with maybe like a few plants, some dragons, and some Mad Max people. Because, man, the first like realm kind of needed a lot of like lore added to it. And so in this set we get the Scout, and actually I do want to check it. Yes, and it uses the an axe build that is going to be seen for, I want to say, almost all the Scouts. Besides maybe like one, I want to say. Which, I don't know about anyone else. I really, really like when, sets reuse builds. Especially for something like weapons. It gives them kind of, at least like, for this, it gives a continuity. I think that's fun. And, you know what, how did I forget about to talk about this? But yes, my cat Stella, the Dragonian do look like the lava monsters from Nexo Knights. And I think that they are going to make a perfect companion piece. I mean, at least if you ask me. I think that's going to be the fun, is that you can definitely use these to build out your army, and it's like, okay, you got more. So, then we're going to move on to the one of the sets I skipped, because I'm just not really interested in it. It's a car. It's Lloyd's car. I think what makes this set special is that you can pull it back. So that's neat. But for me, it's just kind of an I'm not a big fan of the car sets. I think Ninjago is at its best when the builds are dragons and mechs. I mean, mostly because I'm a mech guy, like, through and through. I mean, I literally bought, I didn't buy it. I got it for Christmas. And that was Aura Battler Dunbine, which is a very old mecha and also the first ever isekai. So, I have that on Blu-ray. Because I could not find the dub through piracy, and it just happened to be that the DVD was so cheap, or the Blu-ray was so cheap, because I think the DVDs are actually astronomical. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll bite the bullet and just get the DVD. Or the Blu-ray, rather. And same thing. So this is also our first look at the Dragonian Warrior. And it's another cool minifig. I'm not sure if, like, looking at it, if this one has the baby dragon that goes on the back of the car, but okay. Or not the car, the warrior. And then we also have Kai's mech, or the Kai's Mech Rider set. Overall, it's another I would say, I think it's alright. I'm really not the biggest fan of it. It's just not a set that I would say interests me too much. I mean, I think it actually uses the SCCBS limb pieces great, but it's still just kind of an set. Also, imagine if they actually made this, like, Nia colored. Because, you know, God forbid Nia actually gets, like, stuff colored, you know, for her. Because what is it? I think the last set that we had that was, like, actually for her, I want to say it was a Samurai X mech. Which is kind of, like, not the original, of course, but the one from Crystallized. I don't think she's had a single set from Dragon Rising yet, so, which is crazy to think about. I'll eventually get this set, but as I said, it's just not one that I'm too interested in. I think it could also be because the mechs, you know, uses the SCCBS pieces, and I am not a fan. Like, I, you know, wish they had articulation, and they just kind of... And I'm not a big fan of that whole kind of stock, you know, squatting, you know, pose that they're all in. So, like, I have all the whole wave of mechs from last year, but I definitely want to put them away because I'm really not a big fan of them. Because at least I think, you know, because it's just like, I think they're definitely getting better. But it's also more like when you hit, like, a rock. So, you know, you can only get so good for me. And here's something I really like. They actually have weapon storage. Like, if you look closely, the mech has the katanas, the prismatic blades on the back. Come on, Lego. There's, like... Because there's the next set we're looking at, I'm actually fairly disappointed in it, even though it's a very good set, because there is no weapon storage, and I love weapon storage because it means that I can actually store away the weapons and I don't lose them. And then getting a look at our minifigs. I want to say this is the cheapest way to get Nia, at least with their helmet. I think the 4+ set, because I don't want to talk about the 4+ set either, because, you know, I want to talk about what I'm interested in, and the spinners in the 4+ sets, they don't interest me. You know, I'm more of an actual, like, real build kind of person. And then, because I think that's the easiest way for right now to get Kai, or probably the easiest way to get Kai, because, you know, this is Lego calling it. Next wave, they're going to completely get, like, new suits, because, you know, at the end of, because, you know, we have to have, like, suits for every half year. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Aetha, you were completely right. The set does have a lot of good Atlantis vibes. I completely forgot to mention that, because, like, I actually saw a few people, you know, be like, Atlantis is back, and yeah, this really is an Atlantis set. I think, you know what, honestly, I think I'd probably like it if it was an Atlantis set a little bit better. So, that's my controversial take for the night. And then we have, Roz and Aaron's Jet, which is another solid, vehicle. I actually have this one, and I really like it. So it comes with, at least the minifigure-wise, it comes with Aaron, who is now evil, Roz, and another Dragonian warrior, but I definitely want to see where, like, the plot line of this season goes, because that'll be, I think, super fun to see. And the vehicle is very space-like in the sense that it splits apart. But also the big issue for me is that it doesn't have weapon storage. And Aaron has, like, 2 accessories where it's like, okay, you really could have threw in, like, weapon storage and it would have made the set a whole lot better. Because it doesn't show it here. Actually, I don't even think it shows it, but Aaron comes with a crystal. I believe we actually will see the crystal in another set later. But he comes with the prisma. Actually, now that I look at it, I don't even think it shows Roz's weapon. Because Roz in this set also came with his hammer. And it's not seen in the pictures I have. And but otherwise, I actually really like this set. I will say though is that I imagine you know if you want you could probably take off the dragon flyer and the I guess the exhaust, like the kind of dark looking exhaust, because I don't think they're the best looking on the set. But I guess that's supposed to be the Roz influence of this set. And I also like how there's at least another cockpit, which is also interesting that there's 3 cockpits on this set, but only 2 were really used. So I think that's also very, very interesting. And then also, the minifigures aren't exclusive in this set because you can get the spinner to get Roz. And this is also last year's Roz, which is very interesting that they're reusing last year's tournament Roz. At least I think so, even though I would have preferred if he was in pink. Because he's mostly seen in pink throughout the entire tournament, and now he's just red. For like, I don't know, when he like his powered up Super Saiyan form, I guess. Alright, and now here's the big, big set of the wave. It is Zane. Zane's combo mech. And yeah, this is a very cool set. Now that I own it and have built it. So apparently this is I guess this is like Lego's version of a Brave, because I noticed how the in the designer interviews a lot of them were just kind of like, oh, it's not really a mech because it's Zane, and I'm just like, oh okay, but like just because it's not piloted, like not really piloted, that doesn't make it not a mech. It's still a mech to me. And so this is a combo mech, and it's a combiner. And you have 4 parts that create it, which is going to be the car, which is, I think this car's a lot better than the other combo vehicle, but it still kind of feels like a pair of legs. You have the jet, which is, they serve it, like, this one's really good because, like, honestly, if I didn't know any better, I would not be able to tell that this was a mech. Or at least I would have if you could see the hands, but otherwise it's pretty solid. My favorite part of the set, Ryu, because he's a little bit bigger. I think I might go out of my way and possibly rebuy some of the stickered parts and, try and recreate this, like, as a not armored version, because I like the idea of this kind of being armored Ryu. If that makes any sense. Because at least that's how I look at it. And then we have our minifigures. And Pixel is back, which is, I think, what is it? It's really been a few years since we've had Pixel, maybe not a few years, but it's been a while since we've really had Pixel in a set. And in the storyline. Because that was 2022, the merge happened, she was, canonically, what was it? She canonically was piloting Jay's Titan mech, which, now that I think about it, I guess she would have been using the core version, because when the merge happened, they all had their core suits. So I guess if I want to get the core version of Pixel, I'll go pick up that giant ice set that I wasn't too big fan of, even though I usually like my big monsters. Yeah, let's just get it out of the way too. We have Sora. I really like Sora as a character. Why can't they give her a new suit? Like, okay, you have the helmet. I don't even like the helmet. Oh yeah, I have not talked about the mask / helmet. Yeah, I really, really don't like it. I heard that it was like I watched the design interviews and it was apparently based off of skydiving, but like I think it's a little too bulky. I think if it was maybe like a little smaller, I might like it, but it's just I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. And so I'm going to say it, put it out on a limb. This is the worst Sora minifigure we have so far. Because, it's reusing, it's the third year in a row we're reusing the same torso. Last year we actually finally did get a new design. But still, it's like, okay, can you give us it? Come on, Lego. I know you have it in your power. But then we finally get knocked, which, yeah, he should have been in last year's waves, but okay, they want to build out, the Forbidden 5 storyline. Okay, cool. Only issue is he doesn't have a cape like it's seen in the show. So that's kind of an issue I have with it personally. But otherwise, the minifigure's absolutely great, and I also never noticed that he had a scar. Until, I want to say it was the TTV live stream talking about this stuff, because I was watching that. And then yet again, you also get the Dragonians, and also this set has Cole as an exclusive for the January wave. Which is, I mean, it sucks because I feel like Cole's kind of become the exclusive character. Like, you can only get him in certain sets, it feels like, at this point. Which is, because it's like Nia and Cole have become, I think, the rarest to get of the ninja. Which is very interesting, seeing that Cole was part of the core cast. You know what? Yeah, Dawnbreaker. Honestly, I think that's why I really don't like this version of Sora. They're you know what? You kind of put it into words. There's no cat ears. That's kind of what makes her character fun, is that every, like, version she has, there's cat ears. So, and for whatever reason, on Lego's website, they didn't have a picture of the Zane that we get in this set, because, hey, in Bricklink, they're going to count him as a minifigure, but you do get Zane because he is that huge mech. And yet again, it's like, why couldn't Lego just give us the photo? But, yeah, no, because we finally have a buff Zane, which I guess I should probably, pull up that picture. So, I guess we finally have a canonical, version of a very obscure manga version of Kai, which is, at least to me, is super interesting. So let me just, I'm just pulling the photo up. Because I probably should have prepared it, but like, whatever, And, here it is. Yeah. I mean, the quality's kind of bad, but like, actually, can I find like a better version? Alright, yeah, sorry about the wait, everyone. Just trying to get a better version of... Yeah, actually, here should be a better, easier version of it. Yeah, no, because we finally have, Buff Zane the minifigure. Which is interesting. At least to me, it's interesting. Because it's like, are they actually, like, gonna have the deep cut from the manga? You know, which is kind of insane. And then the next one is possibly the most interesting set of the wave. Because this set has 3 exclusive minifigures. And specifically, there's one set, minifig that I think everyone will go nuts for. That's going to be more, but we'll talk about it in the set. So far, I mean, and this set's kind of a glorified minifigure pack. Also, it does come with a skeleton. They hid that fact away from us. It comes with a skeleton. So, it actually has, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minifigures. This is 7 minifigures because I don't care what anyone says. I'm going by the Bricklink rules. Skeletons count as minifigures. So, but yeah, this is a glorified minifigure pack, if you ask me. So the exclusive minifigures you have are Zane with his helmet. At least in this suit, because strangely enough, in the March wave, there is no Zane, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. The mysterious Rogue, who is, totally not Jay. And then Moro. Which is crazy because, like, I almost wonder if Moro is like Wildfire from, what was it? The climbing mech. Where maybe Moro's going to become an integral character in a future, in a future set. Or the second half year. Or he's just going to be a part of this first wave. Whatever. We have Moro. No, Aetha. You know what? I don't know if you know about this, but I gotta bring this up. Because, no, Jay is, because Jay actually now has the color of, dark blue. And, so I do have to bring this up because apparently you have not seen it. So, yeah. This was also the best, like, probably the best minifigure from that set. Just putting that out there. I personally absolutely love that minifigure, so... But, I also do wonder if it actually is Jay. Like, yeah, I have the minifigure. It has Jay's face. But, like, I also wonder if there's gonna be, like, a weird plot line based on a line Raz says in the show. So, like, no. Because, like, you're joking about how it's not Jay, but, like, we don't have 2 of the Forbidden 5 members. Or we only have 3 of them. Well, we have 2 of them right now. The next one's coming out in the next wave that we know about. But here's the thing. When it comes to Jay, he does have the same hat as the character of, I believe, Kerr. Because we also don't have Rox, but also Rox has the same hat. But if I'm correct, like, I might have to double check this, but I think they might also have, like, the same pads. At least in silhouettes. So, because I think it might have been in a silhouette from one of the other comics that might have shown that off. Because I do want to, like, double check that. Or, wait, no, it was a promotional image. I gotta see if I can find that promotional image. Hang on, everyone. Patreon. Okay, because I think it was in one of the promotional images where they actually showed off. That's another photo I actually do want to get. Because I'm, maybe not 100% prepared. But let me just pull up that, because I just gotta look for it. I'm going through, gotta go through some messages, to find it. Or at least see if I can find it, because if it's not here, it's not here. Actually, I don't think it's... At least I think it was like in a promotional material where they showed off the Forbidden 5. And I don't think I could find it right now. I probably gotta look for it. But, it kind of made me question, how it was. So, alright. But, now we can finally get into the March wave. And we have a real banger to start off with.
Let the shackles be released!
Yeah, Ethan, I know you're gonna go nuts for that one, aren't you? But yes, we have a villain dragon. And, yeah, and... So... Why did the Forbidden 5 need to collect the prismatic blades? Because Thunderfang the Chaos Dragon is what they want to release. It is a dragon that wanted to be one of the Source Dragons. I guess it wants to be the Source Dragon of Chaos to fight, I guess, the Source Dragon of either Balance or Order. Even though I don't think there's actually an Order Source Dragon. And if I'm correct, the Source Dragon of Balance is dead. And it's probably going to go to Ryu if that book has anything to do with it. So, that's, that was fun that, we didn't even know that was a plot line until a random book just said, yeah, this guy wants to be, he wants to be a literal god. So, that's fun. And I don't have a lot of images of it because LEGO's website was kind of bad when it came to images. So in this set, we don't really get a lot of exclusive minifigures, except we do have sort of two. Because we have the character of I believe Taya, who is probably going to be the Dragonian chief, and you could tell that they're the leader based on their longer horns, which is super cool. And then at least I was able to find this image while looking for it. We also have the new Aaron, and yeah, I'll say this: the best part about the Dragon's Rising hoods easily was Sora and Aaron's. And Aaron looks so slick with this black design, like. Oh, this is so good, and this is probably one of my most wanted minifigures of the wave. So, yeah, that's fun. Oh, crap. Huh. The wrong thing got deleted. What? Is he wanting to go to that? Okay. Alright, have a good night, Good night, Cat Stella. But, and so I really like it because it feels very monster. Like, when I first heard about it, I was excited. When I, saw the leaked images, because yes, I do look at the leaks, I was kind of, But, I think finally actually looking at it in a clear image, yeah, it looks solid. But, because obviously leaks, you're not going to get the best look at it, because everyone's got to make it low quality, I guess. I'll never know why. But whatever. And also, same thing with this, this set. Or the big issue with this set. Sora's still in her Season 1 outfit. I don't know why. Give us more like Sora. She's like the best character. Same thing with Aaron. They're like the best characters. At least Aaron's finally getting cool stuff. But I at least appreciate that we'll be getting more of her headpiece, because that is just such a cool piece. And also, this set has a really cool gimmick where when you push the katanas into that I guess temple, it releases the Thunderfang. And so I think he's gonna be another one of those like talking dragons, like Eagalt and Rontu, which is, I think that's gonna be like super fun. Alright, now I actually want to look that up. Dawnbreaker, Icon of Sin. Oh, from Doom. I like sort of see it, but also don't see it at all. So, yeah. Igni K. Have you ever seen your name? Yeah, it's very similar in style to Jiro, which is, yeah. I mean, I like, that's just another good set. That one I feel is a little more a dinosaurian, while this one I feel has a bit more humanoid proportions. But I think that makes this kind of more fun in that sense. Or, because actually, no, not that it has humanoid proportions, it has more kaiju proportions. You know, I look at it, and with its, like, you know, arms, I kind of get a, like, I don't know, Gomorrah from Ultraman, or so, like, I don't know, there's definitely, like, there's definitely some Ultra monster that it reminds me of. Oh my gosh, can I really not look at, that, like, at least I can't think off of, like, alright, that's actually probably a solid, can I actually do that? Okay, no, I actually do have to download the image. I think this is actually a very solid example. Can I actually do that? Or is, okay, so webms are actually good for this. Like, it reminds me of, I think this was Skull Gomorrah, that's what it was. Because this was the, from Ultraman. You know, that's kind of the vibe I get from this set, which is, you know, that's pretty cool. But, I do like Issa, because it's very much kind of like, and it gives that kind of a more imposing look, versus being, like, I think more traditional Western draconic. You know, having that more kaiju, I think, aura gives it more of an interesting vibe. And this is definitely the set I'm going to be, you know, I'm most excited for. I'm going to say when it comes to the two sets of the next wave. Also, oh, crap. Hold on 1 second. I clearly have made a. Okay, that was a. I guess that's where that copy and paste came from. But I don't know. This is definitely going to be. I definitely want to see what the story is with this guy. But there's one thing I really like about this wave so far, and that's because he has a companion. This is the Arc Dragon of Focus, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm kind of glad Thunderfang came out, because, like the two-headed design's fine, but, like, it kind of looks awkward because it has to have a shooter. Because it has, like, a literal, like, cannon where the spinner piece is. It's also got the flapping gimmick, which isn't too bad, but, like, I don't know. I don't really vibe with this set as much as I do with Thunderfang. So it's like, yeah, okay, I'll take it. But this is going to be the main dragon, and I also have no idea. Wait. He also has kind of a Hero Factory invasion from below monster in that sense. Yeah, exactly, Igni K. And I actually saw somebody, what was it? I recently saw somebody complaining about, like, how they don't have buildable heads anymore, and it's like, no, these things are definitely, like, just kind of, at least with dragons, they don't have buildable heads anymore, but, like, honestly, I kind of like that, because we get more invasion for below-style heads. Because I think now that, the dust has settled, we can talk about how great Hero Factory is, I think, at this point in time. And so, but I do think this set has a good minifigure selection overall. But, I mean, as I said, it's just I'm not a big fan of the drag. I'll still get it. My only issue is it's also $100. And it does come with one of the spinners, and I'm also really not a big fan of how the spinners in this, like, theme are. So, at least I will say this, I do like the color scheme of gold and purple. It does have a nice color scheme. Because, I'm not just going to say I hate something, without trying to find the positives in it. But let's get to the real star of this set. It's Zarked. And he probably has one of the coolest villain designs, like his hat covers his face. And you can also watch the Duck Bricks, Actually, I don't think it's in Duck Bricks. I think it's in the Bricks by Mind video where you can see his face. He's definitely a lot closer to Noct, and I guess Rocks probably. You remember when this guy leaked, and everyone was like, "This is not Moro," because Moro got leaked. And then it turned out Moro was actually right. And also, I'm just glad that this design's actually oh my gosh, he is a Kingdom Hearts character. Oh my gosh, he is. Oh, he really is a Kingdom Hearts character. Oh no. But yeah, no, otherwise, this is actually, the Forbidden Five are very, very much like the Ninjago version of, I don't know, is it Organization 13? I think that's their names. I think so. But, yeah, no, because with the, I guess with the locks, that kind of dark aura, oh my gosh, he really is a Kingdom Hearts villain. That's kind of funny, not gonna lie. So... But, yeah, no, I really like how his helmet's done, or his hat's done. My complaint with the head is that they mostly use the 4 draw variants from the Gold Ultra Dragon, while the ones from the Core Ice Dragon and Eagle are severely... Yeah, you know what? I actually agree with that. Well, actually, I'm not really a big fan of, personally, my least favorite head design, dragon head design, is definitely the, I guess it's more of the Earth Dragon / Ice Dragon. Those are probably my least favorite head designs. But, the Eagle head design, I think that was also used in the, I want to say that was also used in the golden, or the legendary green dragon. Those are the best heads, by far, flat out. Those are the best heads, and okay, so actually we go back to the Source Dragon of Focus. I'm personally not a big fan of the underbite, or I'm not a big fan of that headpiece personally. At least the more so on the golden head, the jaw piece, and on the purple head, the top piece. I'm really not a big fan of how it looks. It's probably my least favorite one, I would say, overall. But, LEGO really likes the piece, so they're going to use it a lot. So, but yeah, no, I really do not care for it. But getting back to Zarked, I mean, there's really not much to say besides, I like his head, his hat. It's a very cool hat. And I think that's actually, something that I think is just super fun about them. So, now we can finally move on to the big set. And yes, we finally have a new Blacktron set after the Blacktron Cruiser had the iconic video by Slugger, with it being a GWP. And GWPs, yeah, they kind of they kind of suck, but like, are we finally past GWPs? Which is, it's like a serious question, because like I'm like 99% sure the village, or not the village, Magisto's Workshop completely killed GWPs, at least like remakes of classics, because it was like, at least how I look at it, I don't think a lot of people got them, because it was really, it's not a good set in the slightest. Wait, Aether, the Blacktron set has not been flying off shelves. Really? I also may or may not have been the first person to buy it at my LEGO store. Because I think also it definitely came, I think one issue, I think that also might be an issue with this set. Why did LEGO, wait so long to announce it? I was, ready to be okay. I planned out my entire shopping list, because I was going to get the entire Ninjago wave. And then LEGO just kind of said, okay, here's the Renegade. And, I knew that, from the Kramer leaks, yeah, I think it was either, no, it might have been Newman. I think that was the leaker, Newman. I think it was from the Newman leaks that, announced that there was going to be a Blacktron Renegade. And, after a while, I was just kind of okay, it's fake. No images, no nothing. And then LEGO, finally released it, I want to say, a week and a half before it's supposed to hit shelves. And yeah, I think that's probably why, if this set is not doing good, it's because LEGO just kind of shadow dropped it, and $100 during the holidays is kind of a hard, thing to find. I personally waited for it. I had a spending limit of $300 for this January, so I pretty much got just the Ninjago sets. And this. But I think, the Ninjago sets were already, leaked, announced, whatever. I think I eventually, and I was ready to just completely, actually, I genuinely considered skipping out on this set, right away. Because, $100 is kind of a lot of money, so I think if I decided, because I was planning on I was going to get all the set, or most of the Ninjago sets. I think if this set didn't come out, and also, the leaks also said it was going to be $110, not $100. That's even more of an ask. So I was $110, that's a lot. That means I can't get, I can only get 3 of the Ninjago sets I wanted, because I had to skip out on the Forest Dragon for right now. I mean, not that I'm really skipping out on it, being that it's, it's still got a year, of shelf life. But I was really excited to get that set, and I decided to skip out on it for this, because I think and as I said, I actually do own it. Yeah, this set is amazing. It really goes up against the Galaxy Explorer. And when it first dropped, I wasn't the biggest fan, because I didn't like how it wasn't very sharp. But honestly, the fact that, talking about something later on, I was really happy that it also has an alt build, but we'll talk about that later. I do got a question for you, Aetha. How did the Sonic sets sell? Because I know when I went there, let's say they put out, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna say 8 of the tail cyclone sets. So let's say they put out like 8 of those, right? When I was like looking, or because when I looked when I was buying my sets, they had like 2 left. At least on shelves. I imagine that they probably are I guess a bit easier to come by. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Sonic's popular right now. SA2 is, SA2 fans are super happy. And as I said, I think it just comes down to the fact is that Lego, if they're going to, like, I actually texted my friend being like, dude, you got to get the Blacktron Renegade, and he was and and he looked it up, and I was like, oh man, I got to get this, and it's like, yeah, no, because he's usually a Star Wars collector, but like me and him are the kind of people that like appreciate some nice classic space, and so he has to get because I remember we were all hyped about the Galaxy Explorer, like me and him, we were so hyped about the Galaxy Explorer. And that's, like, I want to say his favorite set of all time. I don't think this set beats out the Galaxy Explorer, but, like, you gotta get it, to be honest. At least that's my thoughts. Like, if you have one, you gotta get the other one. I keep forgetting the Mario Kart sets even exist, to be honest. But, so I really do think LEGO did this set dirty by not announcing it, which is, I think, a pretty big issue. Also, I will say this is that, and I think that's as I said, it's just one of those things where I hate the fact that they just kind of waited so long to announce it, and I think that's definitely the issue if people aren't buying it, because I know for me that like my was already ready with like everything I wanted to get, because I also don't want to, because I also got the BBTS the Bring Your Arts Xenogears Bart figure still on pre-order, because I think that Aetha, like, Bart's one of my favorite characters from Gears, so. And that thing costs like $120, and I put a down payment on that thing for $12. And so it's like, oh boy, I'm not canceling that pre-order for a Lego set. I have to get that, that figure, because I put money down for it. But, yeah, no. Like the classic sets, it's also modular. Okay, actually, no, I didn't want to talk about this first. This is the best part about this set, is this little buggy. No, you don't understand how good this little buggy is. Let me pull up the original one, cause I do have a I do have the was it here? Yeah, let me pull that up. Yeah, the original buggy was just kind of a little boring little thing. I don't like it. I don't like these vehicles. I think they're boring. So, yeah, no, this buggy is such an upgrade that, like, it's kind of fascinating to me. And also the gimmick of, like, the Renegade picking it up is super fun, too. Honestly, I feel like the Renegade being expensive kind of makes more sense in the Galaxy Explorer. Because like it was 1989 when that set came out, and I dare even say that was probably right before, like probably on the cusp of like the 90s being the worst decade for Lego. And, like, I'm also kind of glad because I've never really been a big fan of the Renegade design. Like, because it's one of those things where I wasn't really I've never been too big of a fan of it. As I said, I do like the Galaxy Explorer better. But having it in person, this is such a fun set. Yeah, Igni K, that is definitely one of my gripes. The cockpit's huge, like ridiculously huge. It really shouldn't have been that big because it has there's a feature in this set, when it comes to the alternate model that like it's cool, but I also do have my issues with it. Oh, wait, it came out in 87. You know what? Yeah, because 86 was the last year with Classical Spaceman before they switched to Futuron. Or it might have been on the shelves till 89. That might be what I'm thinking of. Because this is back when LEGO actually had, like, long Wait, when did M-Tron come out, now that I think about it? But, wait. Because now I'm actually, like, let's check and, can answer that. Okay, that was 90. Because wait a second. What were the, 89. Oh, you know what? I think that's where I'm getting confused. That was like the year before everything happened, so okay. So now, well, we're finally gonna move on to the what is it? The next. Yet again, this set's actually very modular, which I think Sun. And one thing I don't like about this image is how they show the buggy being picked up, because it's supposed to be picked up, but like it kind of doesn't work. Like at least how it's shown, it's like you actually gotta like pick it up, it's such a fun gimmick. Like it makes the set so much fun. Here's some of the other modes and craft that we kind of have when it comes to this set. Because you can make it out of the cockpit. As yet again, as Igni K brought up, the cockpit's way too long, and it's definitely, I think, a detriment to the set overall. Because, like, I don't know, I feel it's kind of weird that you can fit 2 minifigures. It's not like the Galaxy Explorer where it's like, okay, that makes sense. I always view the Renegade as more of like a one-person ship. And here are the minifigs of this set. Dawnbreaker, you're probably the one that would know this. I know that's like very much a classical space design, but like I'm pretty sure that robot came from like another set. If you happen to know the set or sets it's in, that'd be great, because I don't remember at the moment. Because I know it's like, because like I remember like wanting to make some. I think there was a stop motion I wanted to do, and I really wanted to have some like Blacktron robots, and then it was like, oh wait, Blacktron really only has like, I want to like maybe one robot. Like, was it from the cruiser? Because I can't remember if it was from the original cruiser or not. It might have been from the, yeah, no, because it was like, wait, that's the remake. Can I find the original? At least that's where. Yeah, no, because it was like the only one was from the original Blacktron cruiser, which was like kind of insane to me. Okay, yeah, no, that's what I thought. Is the robot came from like classic space, and they just are kind of fun, and they use classical space designs, which is something I like. And then the other cool part about this set is that it has alternate models. I actually should have brought that up too, but let me pull up a picture of the Alienator. So this is a classic vehicle reimagined, but I'm kind of mixed on it, because it's like it's an alternate model, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't say it's a very accurate alternate model. Also, we just got like I think a repair mech, which is super cool. But I'm also kind of weirded out because like, let me bring up the original. Okay, why did they use that cockpit? Why didn't they use a cockpit on the mech, like, or the repair mech? Why did they use like the entire full-on cockpit used on the actual Renegade? Like, I look at this and I go, why? And it just kind of confuses me. And also, that's another thing I'm not, like, you know, and this is just kind of where we're getting to more of the nitpicky sections, because I also have not had experience with this, but I do like the fact that it actually has the granite grinder kind of style of legs, which is, I think that's super fun. But it also the legs are definitely more like the granite grinder because it feels like one leg versus the original. The original feels like it has 4 legs. This feels like it just has 2 legs. So like, it's there, but like, okay, you know what this set feels like? This is the granite grinder, but like Blacktron stole it. That's kind of the vibe I get from this set. So, yeah, no, as I said, Dawnbreaker, like, you know, you look at it, like, I had a conversation with somebody, the day the Blacktron, I think it was the day it leaked. It was right before we got the actual announcement that said it alternate models. And I remember texting somebody, and I was like, calling it right now, we're gonna have an alternate model based on the buggy. And it's like, I was right, but I was wrong. And it kills me. Because I don't know. Because I think I did the exact same thing for, like, Xenoblade 3, Aetha, if you remember. Actually, I don't think I was talking to you at the time. But I had that issue where, like, at least with that, I was, like, fine with being completely wrong in my prediction. Because it was like, yeah, I was 100% right, but I was also completely wrong too. This one kills me because it's like, okay, we have the Alienator, but it's inaccurate. Sigh. And then, but then yet again, you have the, but the Repair Mech is actually just like a cool new vehicle, but still, I think they dropped the ball on the Alienator. They should have made a new cockpit, and I would have liked this thing a little bit. But also at the same time, the more I look at it, it's weird because the cockpit kind of works in the sense that it's long, but at the same time, grabbing the wrong thing. Okay, grab the right thing. That cockpit would have worked so much better. Alright, so that was the last of the images we have today, but actually, I'll pull this up. But we still have some other things to talk about. So, if you're in my Discord server, you might have recently seen that I emailed recently one of the creators of Chima, John Delaney, I gotta figure out how to say his name. Yeah, you know what, Aetha, I actually should bring that up. Yeah, no, that's one thing I do like about alternate models too, is that they are a great way of adding, an entirely extra set to a wave. I literally have 3 Galaxy Explorers, and I will be getting the Alienator at some point. The issue is that, like, it costs $100, and that's kind of where I'm at right now, where it's like, okay, I want to make a video on it, but I need I need to get the Alienator before I can actually work on it. So it's like, that sucks. But getting back to what I was talking about, I got in contact with one of the other creators of Chima, not Tommy Andresen, the other guy, John Dervelani. I think that's how you pronounce. I don't know. He's got a. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'll eventually figure it out. So, because I recently, did some digging, because I will say this, Chima sadly is not very well archived. And that is one thing I am forever disappointed about, is that, but as I was saying, so that's one issue with Chima, is that there's a lot of stuff that's not archived properly. And there's a lot of information out there that, like, because recently, if you go on, like, some of the Reddits and stuff, people have just been finding, like, absolutely random things. Like, let me actually pull that one up, because, like, I don't know if any of you, this might be some of the first times you're seeing this, but in an interview for The Secret Life of Lego Bricks, they actually showed off the concept art for all the dinosaur themes. And, like, yeah. So this might be some of the first time some of you people might be seeing this. But we didn't just get the Triceratops tribe and that was it. No. We actually, seen the T-Rex and the Pterosaur. And they just hid it from us. Because, as I said, nobody likes Chima. And so it's one of those things where yeah. I said, this stuff was absolutely hidden from us. Not that I, because it's, right in front of you, but I can't remember what website this was from, but, these images were out there for, a few years. Or, let me actually get rid of these images. And then on, some random art website, we also had this image of Laval, which, yes, this is from the unmade 4th season, what was it, Darkness Rising and/or Master of Light. And, wait, Atha, explain? No, because there's I don't know, maybe the book actually, there's a second edition of the book that I need to buy, because I have the PDF of the book. This was just kind of hidden on, a random art website from one of, the artists of the show. And that's, the crazy thing. And yet again, it was hidden for, a few years, but, we now have, this art just kind of out there. And, as I said, some of this stuff's just kind of absolutely crazy to me. So, I recently found some archived links on the archive.org dedicated to the co-creator of Chima, John Deverlaney. And he had a blog at one point where he would talk about some interesting lore. And one of these tidbits that I'll also probably post a link in the description later to these archived links. And one thing really caught my eye. The Ice Hunters originally, the Ice Hunter wore the first illumination from the 3rd season, second half of the show. Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, so here's the thing with this. They were actually meant to be from 10,000 years ago versus the 1,000 years. So, if you remember in one of my videos, I was like, hey, how could there be 1,000 years of war? But yeah, it's there's 1,000 years of war, but how does that work exactly? So, yeah, it turns out, so I messaged him, And, see, because there's also some links that weren't archived, and, he wasn't able to find those, but he said they're probably out there. So I was able to message him, and I got in contact with him. So this is all some pretty interesting stuff. So as he said, those are good questions. I always thought the Ice Hunter War was 10,000 years ago, but at some point, LEGO might have decided it was only 1,000 years ago. The point is that this was a long time ago. All the changes occurred in the meantime would have been taken from 1,000 years, in the meantime would have taken thousands of years. I can see evolution happening over 1,000 years, but I'm not sure that much changes in 1,000. I'd actually have to go back to some of the documents and compare them to the show. Which I believe that the evolution thing, I want to say that was that might have been based on me talking about like the evolution of warfare, even though because like the in Shima they kind of evolved from like the water, which is like the great story is what happened. So, as for why the tribes had war machines in a time of peace, that's also a really good question, because the simple answer is because they're cool. And you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. That is like the most metal answer anyone could ever like say. Yeah, okay. But the next part's actually where I think it gets super, super interesting. But the story answer is more like this. Yes, everyone was at peace, but these tribes are still animals. Predators, hunters, and prey. So yes, they evolve into humanoid characters, but they are still deep down animal. But there's still a deep animal instinct in them that is focused on protecting territory and exerting dominance. Yeah, sorry, the words are a little small, and sometimes you can't really see the letters, at least on my screen. And while there was peace, hold on one second, and take a swig of water. Alright. Yes, everyone was at peace. Where's that at? And while there was peace, I'm sure the occasional skirmish over turf. I don't think the wolves were ever completely peaceful, as they were the best at reluctant. At best, they were reluctant about peace. Same with the crocodiles. However, despite a skirmish or two, they were able to resolve their differences with the help of the lions, or through speedo racing. So yes, there was overall peace, but it was not absolute. So they still built defensive tools, gadgets, weapons. But also, those tanks and vehicles came really in handy when dealing with the rugged and dense natural world of Chima. You need some pretty solid vehicles to get through the environment. So they weren't necessarily war machines, they were more like all-terrain vehicles that could be outfitted for war if needed. So, I don't know, tell me that's not, like, super interesting lore to get into the year of, 2025 now? Like, I think this lore is kind of amazing that we're getting it. Because as I said, this is based on my my lion tank video. And also the other stuff was just kind of asking about the because I told you guys that I wanted to do a possible interview in the future, do like how Chima Channel did. So but I also want to aggregate questions, but I got to figure out how I want to do that per se. So but as I said, but it's one of those things where it's like, I think this is actually a really cool addition, because that kind of like shows the fact that during this is the first actual war in Chima, which is like super cool and interesting. Or actually, not the first war per se, but the first war for the 8 animal tribes, which is as I said, I feel like this is all like super interesting lore, and it makes a lot of sense because then you go to like the crawlers. Okay, why did they build, vehicles that also doubled as all-terrain vehicles? Which I'll probably put this, like, lore into that video. But, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, at least this kind of explains my War Machine questioning from the, it could have said. I also do think that video was 100% wouldn't have not been made for 2 reasons. They're the Lion Tank for the Royal Fighter. That video would have never been made the way it came out if I didn't watch a month earlier Macross and happened to stumble across the tank or the mobile defense tank from Exoforce. Like, I think that's kind of funny, is that that's just kind of how that, ended up happening. Is that, so... Because, as I said, so a lot of those questions I came up with in the video about the nature of war, evolution, a sort of humanity, this stuff has been thought about in the sense that, okay, 10,000 years probably would have been war. Skirmishes happen, but never full-on war. And also, why would they have blasters? To blast the plants, that are getting in their way because it is such a dense world. Because, I mean, if you're going through the land of, the forest of falling leaves, yeah, you're probably going to want a tank to blast stuff. Because, that's probably realistically the only way you can get through stuff. So, but yeah, no, this makes sense because, like, I feel like, okay, when it comes to the Eagles, Eris Eagle Interceptor, 100% makes sense. Definitely, you could just outfit it for war. And then, I might put this into the, like, parts of this into the Aquila video because I think it's super, the Eagle Striker. Because when you look at it from that design philosophy, it actually makes a lot of sense. Like, okay, why does the tank have claws? Oh, the tank has claws so we can get through the terrain. Actually, some of these, I really gotta, some of these videos, not that I'm going to be remaking them, but in, like, future episodes, I'll definitely be talking about. That's it, the Ultra Striker. Thank you. I definitely gotta go back and be like, okay, why is this designed that way? For terrain. Actually, I think that actually, you look at some of the Croc vehicles and it's like, oh, that makes sense why they were designed that way. So... At least that's how I look at it, is that there's a lot, like, I think we'll start to really see War Machines once we get to the Ice Hunters. So, because, like, when it comes to the Ice Hunters, I think that's really where you start to hit at the, these are War Machines, and they're not really meant for, like, all-terrain, they're not really all-terrain vehicles. Because that's, honestly, this is, like, because I feel like to me this is kind of mind-blowing because this is just another way to look at it. No, I'm definitely not going to make a separate video. Because it'll probably be thrown into, like, a video where I see fit. Because that's kind of how a lot of these videos are made. Dawnbreaker, where... Because I can definitely talk about it naturally, because I have not written the script for Aquila's Eagle Ultra Striker yet, so I can definitely fit that in, like, super naturally. Because, like, the issue is that it's, like, 5 minutes where it's, like, the 5 minutes where, or not the 5 minutes, but, like, the minute I'm talking about it, I don't need to make, like, an extra video, like, an update video, being like, this is, that's it. Because I wanted the questions to be, posed in the Royal Fighter, so that later on I could talk about it in whatever context that, it even comes up in. I literally ended that, entire section being like, I have no idea if these questions are going to be answered. And then the 10,000 year part, I'll probably talk about it as, like, I'll probably talk about that when we hit the actual Ice Hunters. About how it, like, why in the show's context it seemed a bit weird to me. Because I said, when I was reading the article about the Ice Hunters, everything for the most part was, fairly there. Because actually, it was I think it was the Great Story before the Great Story article. Because I think those are the ones that were archived. As I said, to me, it was just kind of absolutely insane. Because, like, as I said, I was just reading it, and it's like, whoa. 10,000 years? Like, the show implied that it was only 1,000 years. And I think that, because I said, I do think 10,000 years also makes sense, especially when you take into consideration, when did the Ice Age happen? Well, the end of the Ice Age was about 10,000 years ago. Or at least the most recent Ice Age. But, as I said, for the most part, this is just kind of what I wanted to show everyone, because I don't know about you guys, but, like, I feel like this is just some super cool lore that I really wanted to talk about. Plus, I also wanted to talk about the sets. Because, like, if I'm correct, because I wanted to talk about the, because I guess getting into, a real just update territory, realistically, I don't think live streaming is going to become a common occurrence. I think what's really going to happen is, I think whenever, we get, like, we hear about waves of, like, sets, or, they announce a set wave, I'll probably start doing live streams, because, like, I personally don't want to do, like, building live streams personally. So I'd rather, just do, like, more, my thoughts kind of, streams. Because I think that'll be the best way I can get my, because it's like, okay, I want to talk, because it's like, as I said, if you go back and if you weren't here or just catching up, I very much, want to talk about all these sets, but at the same time, like, when it comes, it's one of those things where I don't want to make, like, a video, because I feel like, I think it's way more fun to talk to you guys and be like, okay, are you pointing out, it's like, okay, talking about, the heads of the dragons, or the nose of the, or the, yeah, I guess that would be the nose of the, renegade being too long. That's kind of why I'd rather, do these like that, so people can chat and be like, oh, point that out. Because I don't want to become, like, another one of those Lego YouTubers where it's like, okay, there's a news video, make a news update literally just showing the images, or, like, talking about the leaks, but not actually showing the leaks. Also, I will say this, though. I will not be talking about, probably leaked rumors on stream. I just want to do official images, so, or at least talk about that, or yes, or just in general, like, could also do the, like, Q&A streams. Like, if any of you have any questions for me, this is definitely now time to ask as we wind down. But I will say that's kind of what I really want to do, at least going forward, is, for the instead of having a full on video talking about the stuff, just do a live stream just so we can talk about them, so I could focus actually more on the actual production of the YouTube videos, because they've been taking a long time. Because also the holidays were killer this year. So once I'm finished with another paid project I'm working on, I'll get back to working on the Krager's command ship. I also have the script written out. I want to say like 99% written out for Rascal's or the Chi Raider, or Rascal's Chi Raider. So as I said, so that script's like 99, because I think I sent it to my editor and he's like, "Oh, you forgot like one line here," and it's like, "Okay, I gotta go fix that." But otherwise, that script's like done. I don't plan on touching it. But and then I think I'm working on a script for I think you guys might be interested, at least for some of the videos that might be coming up. I do have a 1,000 subscriber special, which I've decided I'm gonna hold off on releasing that till I release the Krager video, and that video will come out the next week. Because I know that like there's some fans that like I've seen that like they're very anticipating the Krager video, and it's like, or the Krager command ship, and it's like, oh no, it's like, okay, I can't, I gotta release that video before like I make somebody get their hype, get hyped, and it's like, oh wait, it's just a video like that has nothing to do with it. So that's going to be the plan for right now, is to just get the Krager command video complete, and then just kind of build up like some videos, so we at least have like a few weeks of just kind of videos being out. I also do, because there's some videos like also have like scripts that I want to do. Like I really want to talk about Nexo Knights. And just talk about how the fact that it really could have just been 40k. And also how, another missed opportunity, how Imperium from Ninjago could have also just been Nexo Knights. Because that's something I do believe, is that was a missed opportunity. So. But, I mean, So, does anyone have any questions or anything, you guys want to talk about in the Lego sphere? Because I feel like I said talked about the main points, but I feel like now it's kind of time for the stream to wind down. So, because they're kind of in that ending phase of the stream. So. Because that was just kind of the main lore I wanted to talk about more or less today. Yeah, no, seriously, when it comes to the Nexo Knight shield piece, it's kind of funny how, like, I think it just happened to get what I'm going to call the Mixels effect, where, like, the piece just happened to be used in that theme. I mean, actually, the Nexo Knight shield piece was 100%, made to, be used in that theme. But, like, that's kind of the fun of it. At least that's how I look at it. At least that's the fun of that piece in particular. Is how it's like, okay, everyone just kind of knows it as the Nexo Knight piece. Also, yeah, the Igni K. So, yeah, no. So the thing is that that's not really a theory about Imperium. It's more of what I would have preferred to happen, because they have confirmed Imperium and Knighton have nothing related, because Knighton is a completely separate universe. Like, it's not a realm. It is a completely separate universe, and it kind of sucks if you ask me. Because it's like, I really wish Nexo Knights could at least have the Chima treatment of it lives thanks to thanks to Ninjago. Because, like, honestly, for all we know, like, we could see a Chima revival at this rate. I think there's a solid chance that we like could see a Chima revival as Ninjago has a crossover wave, and then then they had just completely spin off Chima into like back again to its own thing. But I mean, chances are probably that's not going to happen. But like, I would say like I don't know a 5% like possibility. Yeah, no, that's one thing I absolutely hate is the fact that like that's absolutely one thing I do hate about it is that like it's a TV like Ninjago is a TV show in Nexonites. I think it works in Dreams, but it just doesn't work in Nexonites, I think. Truthfully, Dawnbreaker, I've been recently getting into 40K. So like I'm still not too well up into the news. Like I just happen to own like a few Tyranids that I want to paint, which I don't think I have. Actually, you know what? Actually, I do want to show that off now. Because we're talking about that. I do have some miniatures I have painted, so let me just pull those up. Because I think that'd be super fun to talk about. Because I just got to send them to myself because they're on my phone. So, you guys understand how it is. And let me see if I can find the other mini. Where are they? I said... It sort of should be right. Take those photos before or after. Okay, I actually think I took those. Okay, yeah, so, sorry about the wait. I just really want to, Forbidden 5 said to be, corrupted. Okay, actually, yeah, no, that's actually another thing we definitely, could talk about. So yeah, no, so Noct is apparently a wolf. I remember, I'm in the TTV Discord server, and I was talking to a fellow user about that. My theory is Rox is a fox. And it happens not to be because it rhymes, but because of the sheer fact that, the character of, Rox is orange. And, oh, crap. Wrong thing. Okay, I gotta actually go, like, lock that. Gotta lock those down. Because I keep deleting the wrong thing. So let me, because listen, I'm just trying to find those, my mini... Let's, like, what? Ah, there it is, okay. Alright, so now I can finally, download those images. So then I could pull their, where is it? Sorry for the dead noise. Just got to where is Winter? There's one of them, and let me pull up the other minis I have painted. Oh wait, that was the wrong thing. And there we go. So, All right. First mini we're going to be looking at is oh, that is a huge image. Wow, that is absolutely ginormous. Yeah, so this is a Tyrannid I painted. I used the slop chop method, and I'm not happy with the bone color. I think what I'm gonna do is I recently bought a white color. I also do need to go buy out some, I think, Hoplite Gold from Army Painters. And there was another color I needed for, like, a wash. For, like, a gold wash. But, also, Ignik, I do, so, we know, I actually thinking about this. What do you think Zark's animal is? Or what they're going to describe him as? Because I think that'll be very interesting to figure out. Oh, sweet Space King. Okay, Space King. Let me actually look up what Space King is. Now I'm... Oh, okay, wait, was this the, yeah, I did see it. I couldn't remember the name of it. The Flash Gets video. I just kind of watch Flash Gets videos and kind of forget the title. Yeah, no, I honestly really like their designs. But, top 5 favorite LEGO themes. Number 1 is almost certainly Bionicle. After that, Chima. Then after that, that's, I want to say either Rock Raiders or Power Miners. And then, like, I don't know, depending on how you put it, I'd probably put Space, like, General Space, and then I'd probably put Ninjago. I feel like that's probably how I would put my list. You know, more or less. Yeah, I also didn't watch the full Space Space King video. So I definitely gotta like actually sit down and really watch it. But all right, I think once it hits the 2-hour mark, I think we're gonna call it. But I'll actually pull up my other the other mini that I wanted to find. So here's another picture of my minis. I made a so I painted some D&D minis. And yeah, let's just pull that up. So I painted up a wyvern and some kobolds. The kobolds, I learned a valuable lesson, and that's I really should have shooken the bottle, because they were made with Vallejo. And, like, I'll pull them up before I, like, delete it again. Yeah, they use the same paint as, they use the same paint as, the Tyrannid's gun. But, you know, the only issue really comes down to the fact is that they came out shiny. Like, you can't really see it in this image. Also, yes, you can see Nexonite sets in the background. Because I don't think anyone's, mentioned them, but yeah, no, those are Nexonite sets. Because I just happened to have a messy table that day. I'm eventually going to take, like, some really nice photos, but yeah, no, these are using the slop chop technique. And so far, I've found it, like, super fun. Because the Tyrannid was also, like, a very interesting thing, because I had, I was at a local game store one day, because I think I went in, what did I get that day, actually? You know, no, that's what it was. I actually went to go, figure out when they were holding up Pokemon VGC tournaments, because I am a bit of a big VGC player, or not big VGC, but like, I like Pokemon VGC, and I kind of wanted to figure out when VGC was happening, because I finally trained up a team, and I really wanted to play, because I think another day I went to, and it happened to be a VGC day, and it was before I had Scarlet and Violet, and I was like, oh man, I really want to play that. And so yeah, no, I mean that's also definitely a time consumer is VGC. But like sometimes you just kind of need a break from like working on stuff. Because I think when I did that, I just came off like a really grueling documentary I made for work, and I just kind of needed a break. I don't like. I'm also working on another documentary right now, but I don't think it's gonna be as like I'm gonna need like a break like the last one. This also didn't help that the Krager video was just kind of taking so much out of me at the time. Because I think it was just the recording, was just a pain process. And then on top of it, like that's kind of the one issue with making the Chima videos. You have to take so many photos because like every set has like a billion different minifigures. Like it's very much not like the space stuff. But yeah, no, but I think we're getting to we're at the end of the stream. I'd like to thank everyone who came today and watched this. Um got a little bit of an update, we learned about some stuff. So all right. Have a good one. Have a good day.